Hey guys, this is Matt for Creative. Today we're talking again about the AirPods Pro Max. AirPods Pro Max? AirPod Pros Max? AirPod Max. This. When I first saw this come out, I was thinking, and I'm still going back to this now, about this is probably one of the worst Apple products that has come out in a long time. This is over-engineered and as least functional for what it is as a product that they have come out with. Now for me, I am a personal Apple fan. I like what works, I don't like what I don't like, obviously. For me, that's first, I don't really go for the laptops. I have a MacBook like that 2015 one that nobody really liked. I like it because it's nice and slim. It does what I need when I need to write up like documents and spreadsheets, and all of that works out. But for the rest of it, I don't need something that's $1,000 or $2,000 just for the fact that it is slim, even though the size and the battery life, hey, that is great. It's just not for me. I see a lot of people moving towards tablets and phones, iPads and iPhones. For me, my daily driver and the device that I use to even edit these 4K videos here, this is an iPhone 12 mini. I also have an iPhone 13 mini, and this is kind of what works for me. I am somebody who listens to music all the time. Ever since they started making the AirPods Pro, they have been in my ears the entire time. I even started with the old wired headphones, and those things they worked. They were exactly what I needed. Not the best sound quality at all, but they were functional, they were basic, and they worked. Now I do remember for a time when we're talking about headphones, I was using the Beats by Dre headphones, just like everybody was. For a time, they were like not the pinnacle, but they were like the stylish option. And I have to say in my past that I really gravitated a lot to things that were kind of on that level. Name brands, things that look good, things that you could tell other people, oh, I have this, and okay, maybe that makes me feel better. I've since moved on to being a really functional person, but for some reason, living in New York City, I've seen a lot of people with these headphones. And it's something that I see everywhere, where for a while everybody's wearing the small AirPods, and it's just because they're super functional. I still think, regardless of whatever I'm using, these are the best headphones. These are the, I think, Generation 2 or Generation 3, whatever has that kind of lanyard clip on there. The soundscape on these is amazing, and I would say it is on par with the giant AirPods Max, but it does do a lot of things better. But again, this fits in my pocket. This, you pull it out here, it has its charge, you can recharge it here, it has the lanyard, it has like a little speaker on it so you can actually hear it if you lose it. This is my favorite, and I think this is the peak of where Apple is. There's other things they could do, but that is for another day. Here I have, and I kind of have it marked here just so I know which one's different. This is the previous generation of AirPods. Again, Generation 2 or 3. Again, I forget how many have come out because they've come out with like a couple iterations. This one is the one that has not MagSafe, but wireless charging on the back. I think they all have wireless charging. I even have an older pair. I'm missing one of them, so I just kind of use this as something that I have in a pinch, but just to be comparative with all this. This one, after listening to the newest generation, you can tell that this is lacking. This is lacking like the giant soundscape. It sounds not bad, but with this, when I'm listening to music, I increase the bass on the EQ just so I feel like I'm feeling more of the music. When I'm using these ones, I don't need to, and I think it sounds amazing. I think they do an amazing job with the size of what this is. They do an amazing job with the transparency and the noise cancellation. This, for something that is over ear, it does average at best transparency. And I want to go through why exactly. I don't know the engineering of it, but of course, you know, there are little microphones on the sides. I can sometimes hear the whoosh of them when I go by, and I can feel it while I'm using them, but they don't do what I need them to do. When I'm on the street, when I'm standing still, it seems to work the best. Where I live in New York City, there's always going to be noise around me. I think that is exactly what I have the expectation of, and everybody has the expectation of. And also, I think if you do noise cancellation on any kind of headphones, that's asking for bad news. Just for me personally, I feel like you have to be always aware. So when I turn on transparency, and it's not that it's when I turn off noise cancellation, because that would just be a baseline. There is, of course, that next level of transparency. When I turn on transparency, I want to be able to hear everything around me, and I want to be present. And I also want to hear that music, so I want both. I want my cake and I want to eat it too, whatever that means. But again, when you're standing still, it works. It works okay. This works better. When I'm beginning to walk around and it's kind of just going through different areas, that's where it is kind of losing its effect. And me, somebody who rides a bike safely as possible here in New York City, but I have an electric bike. You can see it right over here. So I'm going at an increased speed up to 24 miles per hour. And with these, I have no issue with the transparency. The transparency is the same as if I were sitting here, as if I was outside with the bike around me. If it's cold outside, and I don't even know where I have it, I have a hat on over the headphones. And if I'm like, hey, can you turn up the volume? It does it. It listens, it hears it, it is fine, and it turns up that volume. This, now I think I know why, because this, you put this on here, you have everything kind of whooshing by, so of course this is not going to be able to hear. But I really think the microphones in the back here, I think they should be able to hear. But I think because everything is so completely smooth, it's just kind of whooshing around and it's really not hearing anything. But I think it goes to show too that when you are riding, the transparency loses a huge amount of its effect. There are cars that I cannot hear. There are people that I cannot hear. And I do feel like if you've ever not been in noise cancellation mode and not been in transparency, that middle where both are turned off, I think it's just, of course, like just regular mode, that's how this transparency sounds. And that's really not acceptable. Transparency is something that should be to let you hear the outside world and not just wear a pair of normal headphones. Can I remind you guys how much these things are? These are $550. These are $250. You can usually find these at a discount too. You can almost never find these at a discount. And of course, you could always buy the previous generation. Less of a vivid soundscape and less bass, but still functional and pocketable. So for the functionality, it just doesn't do it. First, I do applaud them with the sound that this produces. The sound and the volume you can raise it to, you feel like you are there. And it's just a gigantic soundscape, but of course, it's because I am comparing over-the-ear headphones, which fit around my ear, to something that fits in your ear. I feel like, though, this has a better seal normally. I know I've had this for maybe 3 weeks, so I'm still kind of adjusting and making sure it's sitting there. I can get it nice and tight, but still, it's never perfect. And also, I know I'm going to go on multiple tangents on this. It's hard to have this on you all the time. And this will kind of move into my next point, where it's a little bit fatiguey. It's not super heavy. They do a great job with this band and the way that you can see that these parts here are adjustable. I think they do a great job with that. See the way that I can flex this out. I can turn these depending on where my head was, but it weighs. And I don't necessarily have big ears. I don't, but they're barely fitting inside here. And sometimes I feel like this gets jammed up or this kind of gets squished down depending on how I wear them. And it's just something that it's not really working for me. But then here comes one of my biggest points. This is something that you want to be seen with. And again, I caved under peer pressure after seeing everybody and asking people about this. And I was like, why does this work out? And they're like, yes, it does work out. But everybody is getting this for the look of these headphones because they are unique headphones. I think my first thought on this when they came out, they are ugly. They don't look good. But there are certain things in style, in fashion, that can they can get over their own ugliness or their own oddities, and they can become mainstream. And this is one of those products that has gone from being kind of like an ugly duckling product, even on par of something that I think should have been a surefire failure for many reasons, to something that has become a style point, high price style point, where I honestly think whoever designed these should be fired, should never be hired again because of all the things they did wrong, to whoever designed that is gonna be applauded for this because of how successful these have been. These are successful products. They are making Apple a lot of money, and the Generation 2 has been pushed back, I think, until 2024 because they don't need to do anything. They are selling so much. They are currently sold out on some shops. It's hard to get it. So whether I like it or not, this product, which I think is a flawed product, has become a very popular thing. So being popular and being functional, these are two different things. And in this case, it's a very different thing. So if this turns into a buying guide, I don't recommend this for the look. If you're going for the look, go for the look, get these. If you want a functional product, get this. But this leads into my final, maybe one of my final negatives on this, and that is if I want to take these off because I want to feel present and I want to talk to somebody, whether I'm shopping or talking to a friend, I don't want to keep these on. I think it's ridiculous to keep these on. Because also the way that they're kind of crunching my ears. When I can take these off, I want to be able to take these off and kind of wear them. So they are not digging into, because they are soft and they are rounded here, but they never feel quite right. And I chose to wear a tank top here because this is like the least amount of shirt that I can wear to kind of showcase just how annoying these are just to be around. So normally, I'm like this in a video. I'm looking straight at you, even looking a little bit up because the camera is up. And that means my neck is just kind of just here. If I'm looking down at anything, I'm jammed in here. I'm jammed in here. And you're like, okay, just extend this. That's not really doing it. It's literally because of like the little flexibility here, you're still jamming into it. And you're like, okay, why don't you turn them? They are now digging into my throat. Of course, it's not a sharp thing, but they are literally just sitting on my throat. This is a ridiculous product. Can you see it here? This is not something I want to be digging into my throat. And again, let's go back here. Let's see. It becomes an even tighter dig right here. Now, I want you to imagine that you're wearing a collared shirt. That makes it dig even more into your neck because it's up here, it's being dug here. This is a horribly designed product. For fashion, it is a very, very smart design product because it'll keep people using it and wearing it as much as possible and dissuade people from having it sit here, being really just in my throat. And again, collared shirt will push this up even more. Imagine in the winter when you're wearing a hoodie or a jacket, this thing is just jacked up against your neck. It's a stupid product. Really is a stupid product. And I can't be clear enough where if you are not doing this for the style purpose, do not get this. Just don't get this. I know I said that was one of the last points, but I have to go back. And I know I spoke about this in the previous one. The stupid purse case. I don't want to be carrying something around. That's why I kind of wanted them to live on my neck when I'm not using it. This is a stupid thing where you got to put them inside here or else they don't fully turn off or go into like a real sleep mode. Like, I'm not, like, I know that when you use these, you're going to put them in your ear, and where are you going to put this? In your pocket. Literally, you're just going to put these in your pocket, and you're not going to think any more about this. And when you're done, you pop them back in here. These are functional because they recharge the earbuds, they protect the earbuds, they keep them together. And you could say, yes, this keeps the finish, like, keeps the finish from wearing. But when you are using this, and let's say you are a minimalist like me, what are you going to do with this? I'm not carrying a bag with me the entire time. I'm really not carrying this with me all the time. When I go to work, I have a backpack. I use that. When I'm out with friends, I cannot wear these. If I'm going to the store, I'm going to go and just go, I'm going to wear this, I'll be fine, I'm going to come back. If I'm going out to the store and then going out with friends, in the past, I remember the Beats by Dre headphones. They did have a case. I didn't use the case. I love the way that they kind of folded into themselves. I could put them in a jacket pocket. They would, press the button, they're off. You don't have to worry about them draining the battery. Here, it's kind of like this possibility of them being activated if you put them somewhere, but where are you going to put these? If you can compact these, you can put them in a pocket. This is the only way that they're compact. They flatten. Where am I going to put this? I remember I was at B&H Photo just trying to get something done, talking to customer service. And I was like, where the hell am I going to put this? I'm not going to be having the headphones on while I'm talking to somebody. I'm not a jerk. I'm not going to have these around my neck because it's just so up in my chin and in my neck. I was like, I put this in my hoodie pocket and they're just kind of hanging out there and it looked ridiculous. Last point, almost last point. Do you hear that? When you pull them out of the case, they knock. And these are aluminum pieces. They look good right now. But if you were just casually pull them out, that's a wear point. I think I definitely mentioned this. How are they doing? Are they wearing out? Not yet, because I'm not slamming them together. I'm purposely being conscious about how much these are wearing. They are unique. They are very unique. The sound while they're on, I think, is good. I can wear these for maybe up to 2 or 3 hours, but then it's on my mind about how it's not overly pressure. It's just that there are things over my ears for too long. This is the better option. This is the better option. They need to release this in different colors. They need to make this into the style piece that this has been, because this is a huge style piece. Again, it's now a money maker for Apple. And as much as I personally think that this person should be fired, I feel like Apple got lucky. And because this wasn't an early adopter thing where everybody was doing this, I think this is a 2020 product, and here we are in 2023, and it was only at the end of 2022 where this was really catching on. And I'm only saying in New York because it's more, everybody in New York, when they're going outside, they're going to treat their day like a fashion show. It's exactly just what people do in this city, whether you like to think about this or not. If you are in your 20s and 30s, that's what you're doing. That's just what it is. It's that unique of a city. So that's why I think these work here in the suburbs. It's not something that's really going to be too prevalent, or maybe I just don't know anything outside of New York. But for me, outside of being a style icon piece right now, I want them to do better. I want them to fix the transparency, because it's inadequate and it can be dangerous if you promote transparency. The old transparency on even the old units that I have here is better than this, because this is inconsistent. Transparency has to work all the time, and it's not saying that it's going to cut out certain things. It's just in the active use, it's where it works sometimes and it doesn't. But thank you guys for watching. This has been my rant. I know, and I remember I made a negative video on an iPad case when the iPad cases were becoming extremely expensive, and I was like, don't get this case. And people in the comments were really stupid about it because they didn't realize that this is a channel that focuses on reviewing products. Most of the things that I feature here, I try to show them because I like them. I want you to see them, and I want you to be happy in purchasing them and feel more comfortable and being educated to spend your hard-earned money to get something. There are cases now where I'm becoming more educated in general, like these general categories, where I want people to know what to avoid too. So you can be like, oh God, like you spent your money on it, you're a hypocrite. I'm spending the money because this is a review channel. I may have gotten these even if I wasn't a product reviewer, but at least I see the satisfaction of educating you guys on how inadequate of a product this is and feeling a little less bad about spending the money that I did on this. So maybe look at what I say and just kind of beware. It's the best that I can do. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Put everything in the comment section below. Don't forget I'm on Instagram at m8b9. You can email me at matt8b9@gmail.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.